does it work? Why is it successful? And then ultimately we need to look at the spiritual implications of this system. And it's the implications of us internalizing it for our consciousness. The European cultural construct is based on a concept of truth which implies European power over African people. That is what we will argue. Their energy comes from destruction, and it becomes destructive, and it is destruction. They are the destroyers, as Aikwe Armah would tell us. Get and read the book 2000 Seasons. Their culture is a culture based on death without rebirth. They are the desert which knows no giving. The system of domination is successful because everything in the culture works for one single purpose, and that is the achievement of European power. Everything in the culture is focused on the achievement of that power. Everything is for that purpose. It is single-purposed. And power here is defined as power over other. That's very important. That is critical. Power over other. We have to ask the question, what is truth? For each culture, each people, each race defines truth and the method for reaching that truth. We can have a definition of truth which is spiritual and which is joining. It is possible also to have a definition of truth which is materialistic and separating. They achieve different purposes, and they are for different purposes. The European definition of truth has no spirit, no rhythm. It is conceived in the denial of spirit, and they have no concept of ma'at. They have defined truth in the image of who they are. And who is Yurugu? What did we say about Yurugu? Incomplete. The incomplete being. As they define truth in their image, then they become the truth. They become the smartest. They become the most intelligent of beings. You see how it works. But here you have a truth that lacks spirit, has no connectedness, no relatedness. You can treat everything, can regard everything as dead, lifeless matter, as the object. The concept of the object is extremely important in understanding European thought and how that thought sets the world up for their power. The object is that which can be manipulated, that which can be controlled. It is a thing. So we're going to look at the relationship between culture and thought. We're going to demonstrate how this Asili analysis works. We're going to understand how Europeans have, through their thought system, restructured reality, restructured the world in their image, an image which is spiritually deficient. Now, if they define truth in terms of a negation of spirit, and we are a spiritual people, then what does that do to us? We will understand European thought as it supports European imperialistic behavior. And so with that, let's get started with the work that we have to do. An energy that feeds off of tension, off of conflict. They can't know harmony. You understand that? Cannot experience feeling of harmony. It is unbalanced, always in a state of imbalance. At the same time, well, let's move to the utamawazo on the right-hand side. This is the cognitive, the thought, how the asili manifests itself as thought. Remember, there is no interrelationship. There is no cosmic view. A cosmic view of reality gives you interrelationship and interdependence. So what they have is always separation and disconnectedness. Knowledge in this system becomes an act of aggression. That is, it's power over the object. Now, if that's the case, then you've got to have an object to have power over. And that means that you've got to have separation. So everything in their system of thought is based on separation. Where does that separation begin? It begins in the self. They split the self. They dichotomize themselves, separate themselves, as though reason and emotion were separate. And we even find ourselves talking like that, but that's not true. The African conception tells us there is a whole person, so these things are part of each other. They have to visualize it as being separate. Okay, so first you make the separation, you make the splits, then you make them what we call hierarchical, or you put it like this, where one is better than the other. One is superior, the other is inferior. Then the logic of this system says that the superior one should have power over the inferior one. Okay, the one that you value should control the one that is devalued. That's the key. Once we understand that process, you can understand everything that they do, everything that they say, and everything that they write and think and so forth. All the so-called philosophies that people try to say is different, they come from that culture. They're all the same in this regard. So that the thinking is confrontational. We go back to African worldview, we have complementary pairs. As Amma created people with the female principle and the male principle working together. So the societies then have the female and the male working together cooperatively. That's got to be our model. This model says no. It's got to be separation and confrontation. It says fanatically rationalistic. What does that mean? Rationalism here is not reason. Rationalism is the imposition of the control onto the universe. The imposition of the mental order of the European onto the universe. It's saying that things were created for you, by you. You become God where you are the European. And that they were created in the way that you think about them. So it is not a way of thinking where you try to become in tune with the universe. It is one where you impose your own mental order on the universe. That is what rationalism is. But you see, there is this need for control. And the need for control comes from the deficiency in the being, the deficiency in the asili. Okay? Since knowledge is an act of power, then it is necessary to have something that you're having power over. What is that? That is the object. The object becomes the most important thing for them, creating this object. What is the object? We said before, it is a dead thing. Something which is disconnected, something you're remote from, you have no emotional involvement with. That's the object. For them, that is all that you can know, is the object. This dead thing. This thing which disconnects you from the rhythm of the universe. The object is that which disconnects you from the senses. If you look in the dictionary, look up the word object and see. You'll see some very interesting things there. The object breaks the rhythm. It is the rhythm that the European cannot deal with. And so what they have to do is to reconstruct things so that they have the illusion that, well, I don't have to deal with that. That's okay, and I can know truth. So they redefine truth.